So, sorry. Alright, there we go. So this is my second vlog. It's based on my first interaction with Alex. Met on Sunday. And we just kind of hung out in Brody and just got to know each other and talked about like what school is like for us and like what it was like growing up. And we just kind of went through the syllabus and talked about like each other's answers. And it was a really good time. I'm gonna like go over the answers that he gave and like what I noticed and how I felt about them, and it's kind of how it went. So his typical day was got up early, walked to school, and you know, he did all his work in school. There was not like he didn't have time to do like homework outside of school, so he made sure he got it done like before class ended, or like when he had free time during the day at lunch or something. Because after school he would have like wrestling practice, and then he would go to work and he'd come back really late. I'm guessing probably like 12 or 1. He definitely is a hardworking guy. His 3 worries were going to states for wrestling. That was something he really wanted to do. His job, like keeping a job and being able to pay for college, and his dad. His dad was in a car accident and has had, like, I think he said 7 surgeries since then, and now they want to keep doing more, and he's just like, I'm just gonna wear a back brace, like, because he fractured his lumbar vertebrae, and so he was really keen on making sure that his dad was alright. Three things they really enjoyed about high school and like school in general was speech class. He loved making speeches and like writing them and giving them in front of his class, and he really seemed to like the teacher that taught it too. He said that he had a good relationship with her, if I'm remembering correctly. Another one was that he drew comics, like little stick figure comics, and he would ask his classmates like what they thought about him, and just and just try and get feedback on if they were funny or not. And I feel like I really want to see them because I bet they were really good. Like I bet they're super cute. And then wrestling and practice, because he was with the guys that he was closest to, and with his coach they really liked, and was just, you know, having a good time. So the biggest test he had was the ACT, and I said the SAT, so I thought that was pretty similar. And then he didn't like really struggle with pre-calc, but that was his hardest class. And so he worked really hard to make sure that like he understood the material before he left class, and that he got help on the homework when he needed it and stuff like that. As far as the ACT, he like prepared by doing those booklet things. Like I know there were those for the SAT when I took it, and like he took notes and he always asked questions. And he did the homework that day, so it was like fresh, and then he wouldn't need to like go back to it and not really remember what the answer to a question was, which I thought was really good. I feel like that's just a good habit to begin with, like no matter who you are. So those were like the main things I noticed or that like we talked about. Like through this, I really noticed, that Alex is like a really hard worker. He had a tough childhood. He was actually his parents separated, as did mine, so I like kind of resonated with that. And he was living with his dad, I believe, and his older brother, who is like 9 years older than him, so like significantly older. They both ran away. His brother convinced him to run away, and they spent 2 years in the foster care system. And I believe his brother turned 18 shortly after and just kind of like left. And like he didn't really have anyone, because the only person he knew was his brother. And he didn't like get emotional, but I could tell it was really kind of difficult and like a sad part in his life, as like one would expect. I mean, I can't imagine foster care being fun. And then eventually his dad found him, and they lived together. And shortly after that, like a few years, his dad got into the accident, and so he was bringing in income. He didn't say it, but you knew that he was paying some of the bills, or at least helping out with them, along with saving for college and paying his phone bill or whatever. He's a really hard worker. And a really good guy. And that's definitely something that's really different between us. Like, he worked for everything he's gotten, and that's not really the case with me. I've kind of been handed stuff, and talking to Alex really made me realize, like, I knew I was lucky, but I never really thought about, like, wow, I could have it so much worse. And like, sitting right next to someone that's like that, you really feel like, holy crap, I haven't really done anything that would get me something, if that makes sense. Sorry. So talking with Andrew was kind of an eye-opening experience, and had a really good time getting to know him, and he's a really humble, sweet guy, and I'm really excited to see what we do. So yeah, I'm excited for Interaction 2 and Vlog 3, and I'll post that when time comes.